Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Arwana Saputra and my number is 2103008085. Okay, today I would like to review the journal for my final exams in academic speaking. And this journal is from my lecturer is Mr. Chandra. Okay, we move to the journal. The title of the journal is Vocabulary Self-Collection Strategy. Is it effective to improve vocabulary mastery achievement on senior high school students? For the first is in this journal, the objective of this research was to find out whether there was a significant difference in vocabulary mastery between students who were using vocabulary self-collection strategy and those who are taught using a conventional method. This research used a quantitative approach with the experimental method of quasi-experimental designs. The student involved as a sample of the research selected using the purposive cluster sampling technique. The instrument used was a test including pre-test and post-test. Data was analyzed using Mann-Whitney use test. The result indicate that the score of ASM using Mann-Whitney use test, ASM Psych 2 child was 0.001, which was fewer than 0.05. It means there was a significant difference in vocabulary mastery between students who were taught using vocabulary self-collection strategy and those who were using the conventional method. Furthermore, based on the result of the N-Jane test, it was found that the vocabulary self-collection strategy was more effective than the conventional method. And we move to the introductions. Mastering vocabulary is important in getting to know any language. This is due to the fact vocabulary is built into all elements of the language. To be specific, reading, writing, speaking, and listening. While not having sufficient vocabulary, it must be not possible to gather proper abilities in any language skills. By Carranza et al. 2015 argues that being not able to communicate meaningful is irrespective of how kids can examine grammar, no matter of how the sound of and led to are linear, as long as there are not any words with which to carry a plus high variety of meaning. Since English became the favorite language in Indonesia, it includes in school curriculum from elementary to high school. State that despite frequent usage of the English language both in out and of the classroom, students continue to face difficulties in their learning, and they usually see unfamiliar terms as the first obstacle to overcome. Arsgari and Mustafa 2011 are sure that can be the due of the fact that vocabulary has been acknowledged as being critical to language usage, and that learner with vocabulary has been inadequate vocabulary knowledge have had problem in second language acquisitions. Think about the significance of mastering vocabulary. It ought to learn using the suitable strategy that students' vocabulary mastery can be stepped forward. Mainly that the senior high school in Bau-Bau, East Sulawesi is supported by Kavipor and NAVE. We argue that the use of learning method is very essential in the process of vocabulary acquisitions and is highly dependent on the effort of the learner. Learning methods for the vocabulary are subsets of language learning strategy that have received a great deal of attention in 1970s. When it comes to learning words independently, a vocabulary strategy is a specific instructional instrument and method of going about it. The vocabulary strategy is a specific instrument and method of going about it, directly or explicitly, as well the independent word learning abilities needed to do so. As stated by Nation 2001, the language of reading, listening, speaking, and writing have to distinct from of vocabulary. This vocabulary is receive, productive, passive, and active. Receive of passive vocabulary refers to words independently understood by local and overseas speakers, which might be hardly ever used anyway, productive or active, and overseas speaker which might be hardly ever used anyway, productive or active vocabulary is speaking is actively spoken or writing. The vocabulary of the pupil is commonly broader that of the speaker, even as the vocabulary of the pupil pretty massive. The research of vocabulary in most language novice is significantly larger than its productive vocabulary. And thinking about the importance of vocabulary, then it needed to get knowledge of with the ideal method for learners to collect new vocabulary through the mastering method within the classroom. The issue seemed that at the vocabulary of the pupil of SMA Negeri 4 Bau-Bau, so short as Sulawesi, English teacher introduced English vocabulary using translation and asked pupil to memorize. Translation ought to be prevented because it has numerous risks such that pupils may have verbalisms and no longer all words may be translated. For that reason, many students lose interest and become bored in studying vocabulary. Consequently, student vocabulary fluency could be very low due of the fact students have issue memorizing the new words which have been taught and that very effortlessly forgot about the phrase and have been learned early then. By knowing the problem faced by the student at the SMA Negeri 4 Bau-Bau above, the researcher suggests one of the strategy overcome it. The researcher will use the self-vocabulary collection or VSS strategy as educate vocabulary to enhance pupil vocabulary fluency. The VSS turned into evolved with the aid of Rudel in 2005. It applied inside the classroom of the 7th grade high school and graduate students. Anthony et al. 2014 state that the VSS goal is to provide a long-term incentive for pupils to acquire new words by raising their interest in integrating new topic words into their educational vocabulary over time. As students use VSS, they maintain their study approach, locate the ideal words to use, expand their vocabularies, and become word meaningful. For Martin 2015, more for Haggard in Putri 2012 indicates that there are three benefits to adopting VSS: making a connection among new words and their meaning, growing pupil interest in new phrases, and growing student passion for learning and the invention of late word. From the outline of VSS above, it could be concluded that using VSS can improve students' vocabulary mastery to making the student more fun, bringing enthusiasm for student at some point and studying process, and motivating the student to accumulate new words. Except research display achievement to the usage of VSS to enhance student vocabulary mastery. The students increase their activities within the class and have been encouraged to ask and answer some questions. By looking at the explained above, the research came with the problem as follows. Is there any significant difference on vocabulary mastery achievement between who are taught using VSS and those who are not on grade 11 student at SMA Negeri 4 Bau-Bau? Therefore, this research aims to find out where the application of VSS is better to improve the student vocabulary mastery achievement and that conventional method at SMA Negeri 4 Bau-Bau. From this journal method, using a quantitative approach of quasi-experimental design was used for this research. This intended but that this study used group of students where in one group changed into dealt with as a control group and some other group into handled as experimental group. The students concerned in this study were 11 grade students from SMA Negeri 4 Bau-Bau, with a total number were 184 students. The sample have been class MIA 4 as an experimental class and class MIA 7 as control class with a total number were 60 students. They were selected as a sample using the proposed cluster sampling technique. Each group of the students who had low vocabulary learning achievement and appearing to be selected as the sample of the research. The collect data. This research needed an instrument. The instrument was a vocabulary test. It was linked to the receptive or productive ability of the language overall. Or the test was divided into present and pro-test. And this is all the finding and discussion. This research is conducted on grade 11 student at SMA Negeri 4 Babau. It takes 2 classes as the sample. Each class consists of 30 students. So the total of the number sample is 60 students. So since the research uses as the test of research instrument, the researcher administers the pre-test first, then does the treatment, and finally administers the pro-test to 30 items of the multiple choice. After the test, both experimental and control class are examined below. That's there is the experimental or the explanation from this finding and discussion. You can see. I can explain one by one. I can skip that. Okay. This is all about collecting data or finding data or using a method this is all explanation by using that method. Okay, so the conclusions we move to the next part is our last part, conclusion primarily based on the end result of the data analysis as provided formally within the descriptive analysis super through the hypothesis test and at the effectiveness test. This research concludes that there is a significant difference in the achievement of vocabulary proficiency among the students at those that are taught using self-vocabulary collection strategy and those who are taught through the conventional approach. It may be seen inside our average score at both tests, which inside the experiment class it's 79.67 and it is categorized as good. It means that students gain an awesome command of vocabulary after being taught using the vocabulary self-collection strategy. For contrast, the mean post-test score it control as 69. That's the increase is that very good score. Like you see, the score is very good, and that's observing the result of this research suggests to use the vocabulary self-collecting strategy in teaching vocabulary, since it is better to improve students' vocabulary mastery achievement than the conventional method. I think that's all from me, and that's all from the review of the journal. I think that's all. That's very good journal, and that's it for my final exams. Thank you for the watching, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.